Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is October the 1st, 2023. Hope this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. Maybe even spooky spirits. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do that in and out of the month. I can't help myself. I'm sorry. I'm filled with the vibes. But yeah, no, as for me, I'm good. I'm chilling. It's been a pretty cozy day so far. I'm feeling much better in the foot department. Not 100%, but better, much better. Let's see. I did a little bit of grocery shopping, which is weekly tradition. I was able to scrap nothing too major. We're still doing some ho hum stuff, but it was the essentials, the stuff we needed. So I'm happy. I'm good. Let's see. And yeah, I'm just kind of in the house for the day, I think. Normally, I'd like to do a little walk. I'm missing my walk still, but I figured, hey, let me give myself at least a few more days till I'm like, fully there. I did some burpees, so that was good. My little exercise. I was like, okay. They were super slow though. Like I was just like, oh, I would do like a little hop. But no, overall, I do have a food corner too. Did some activities with the homies, and I wound up in Eastgate. And I had the classic chicken teriyaki, extra chicken. Ooh, so good. I was going to get the chili, like the chili sauce or whatever, and put it on. It was like getting gunked up, and I was like, oh, okay, you know what? Fuck it. And I just took the lid off and just like slowly poured it on. I was like, okay, thank God I didn't make a tragedy here, because that's always my fear, right? Is like you either gush too hard and then like it explodes, or you do what you open the cap off and it just runs out, something bad. Look, I've had some soy sauces explode on me in the mall, so I'm traumatized. I live in fear. So this was a dub I had to talk about. Let's see here. Is there anything else to reminisce on, dissect? No. No, we can go ahead. Oh, actually, what am I saying? It is the top of the month. It's the first of the month. And as Newsy Supreme, I got to do a roll call. And I like to do it at the top. Sometimes, I catch it at the end. Either way, it doesn't matter, but I want to get it in for sure. So let's, shout out my newsies. Doo-doo-doo. Okay, let's do the roll call. Stephanie Renee, Denver McIntosh, and Edward Haas. Also, Edward Haas, got to give you an extra double plug here because you are the leader of Commander's Conclave. I salute you, good sir. It is an amazing Magic the Gathering Commander podcast, EDH, if you will. Gets everybody together. It's nice and just real casual, real cozy situation. It's fun. It's good times. So please check that out. It is on YouTube at Commander's Conclave. Go ahead and use your little typey fingers. Go find that on the internet. Please do that for me. All right. We are out of the shout outs. I'm going to go ahead and take my startup, and then we'll get into some news. Shoo-ba-dee-doo, shoo-ba-dee-doo. Boop-beep-beep-beep-doo. Oh, also, this week I got a new water bottle, so that was a thing. It's metal, so that's different, and I'm worried about dropping it on my foot, especially right now. But it is, it keeps my water cold like the whole day. Not that the other water bottle was bad in that regard, but like still, and then also it's seemingly no condensation. So I'm like, well, I'm kind of digging that. Maybe I do need to bone up on my water bottle technology, I should say. All right, let's get down to business. From Al Jazeera, Turkey suicide bombing live. Terrorists will never succeed, says Erdogan. I'm just kind of pulling that headline. A quick little just blurb of what happened. Two police officers have been injured in a suicide bombing in front of the Interior Ministry in the Turkish capital of Ankara, according to the country's interior minister. Their wounds are not life threatening. So that is the good news about it. Obviously, it's a very traumatic situation, very devastating in the sense of just like, that's literally the top thumbnail I have for the episode is that explosion. I believe that the second attacker they were able to kill before he detonated. So, and then they just like disarmed the bomb on him. So that's good. But yeah, I mean, good that there was no other loss of life in the situation. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and move on to the next beat from CNN. 13 dead in Spanish nightclub fire as rescuers search for more victims. Let's see. At least 13 people were killed and 4 injured in a fire that broke out early on Sunday morning at a nightclub in Murcia, Spain. Emergency services are still at the scene looking for more victims. New victims cannot be ruled out. The cause of the blaze is not yet known. They do have at least the ages of some of the injured. The injured are 2 women aged 22 and 25, and then 2 men aged 41 and 45, who were all taken to the hospital due to smoke inhalation. I say just at least just because I'm assuming that even by the time of recording this, and maybe by the time you listen to this, there might be more. Just so throw that there. Let's see here. There is a statement from someone who is in the club. I wanted to read. I think we left the club 30 seconds, 1 minute before the alarms went off, and all the lights went out. The screams saying there was a fire. I was at I'm just reading this quote. I was at place at that time where I could get out, but 5 family members and 2 friends are missing, and that was an unidentified survivor. So yeah, I mean, there's really not too many details that I have on what caused it or anything like that, but it does look like it was a pretty devastating fire that took place. Obviously the condolences to the families, things of that nature. Let's see, is there anything else I really want to add? No, because I don't even know in the situation, was there any kind of structural damage or anything like that? I don't know. There was just a fire. Sadly, there's lost life. So that is all I have on that part. Let's see, and sadly the hits keep on coming. I got more news from CBS News to be precise. Illinois semi-truck crash causes 5 fatalities and an ammonia leak, evacuation for residents. A semi-truck carrying 7,500 gallons of anhydrous ammonia overturned in Illinois in a multi-vehicle crash that caused 5 fatalities and sent another 5 people to local hospitals. Now, I found out that anhydrous ammonia is, it is an efficient and widely used source of nitrogen fertilizer, and that anhydrous means without water. I did not know that part. I was like, oh, okay, neat. But apparently this stuff is not good to breathe in. It is very bad. It, stings the skin and the eyes. Now, in terms of the people who passed, they haven't said what the causes were, so that's a little bit oh, okay, did they die from potential inhalation of this gas or this nitrogen or whatever the fuck? Yeah. Or was it because of the accident? And they're well, we'll let you know, maybe. I don't know. But according to early estimates, about 4,000 gallons have been released. The leak has been partially patched. So I don't know how deep that is in terms of partially patched, but let's see. Effingham County Sheriff Paul Coons told reporters that there was a large plume from the ammonia leak. Because the leak caused terribly dangerous air conditions in the northeast northeast area of Tutopolis. An evacuation was ordered within an approximate 1 mile radius of the crash. Evacuation orders for some areas were lifted Saturday evening. So, I'm always, a little bit weary when these stories come out because obviously you hope that this is contained and good and there's not going to be any lasting damage, but you just never fucking know. But if there is anything else that drops on this, this front, I will definitely let you know. Let's see here. We have one more thing to cover. A little bit of a surprise overnight news that kind of popped up. But you know me, I'm going to take my little break and then we will get into it. Yeah. All right. All right. From NBC News. Highlights. Congress passes bill to keep the government open, averting a shutdown. Bipartisan majorities in the House and Senate passed the deal, which will fund the government through November 17th, but lacks additional aid for Ukraine, which was a big deal. I know that's just been a big talking point, but yeah, I kind of mentioned this offhand in a previous episode saying like, hey, yet again, we're careening towards another fucking government shutdown. This would have been less than, let's say, like the government defaulting on our debt or whatever the hell, but still bad because at the end of the day, when these government shutdowns happen, because they have happened over a few times from both parties, people are literally working and not getting paid, or they're furloughed. Like they are out of work, essentially saying, hey, you just got to sit here and you're not getting any kind of pay, and that's it. Now, if you are working, if you in this kind of situation, you're active, you do get back pay, but you would have seen situations of people having to go to food pantries, get assistance, when they have full ass fucking jobs in the government. And that's just a crazy fucking thought to me that has happened before and that there were congressmen just willing to do that. There was like, whatever. And I mean, essentially there was a lot of beef over, how we're spending money. And there's a lot of alt-right Republicans that were saying, hey, look, we have the power in the House of Representatives, so we're going to use it. And we want these things passed. And you're going to toe the line, Kevin. And essentially Kevin McCarthy, the speaker, is like, okay, what do I do? And he tried to use the Biden impeachment inquiry. Like, hey, let's get that started, actually. Let me do that. Let me throw you guys this bone. You guys want, we want the Biden crime family thrown up. And, I mean, that was some news that took place. They literally had this inquiry, and it was just like, where's the evidence? Where is it? And they're like, well, we got these witnesses, and they heard this phone call, and, surely if we just had more access to the bank records and da-da-da-da-da. But it's just like, so you don't have any evidence, huh? There's just nothing new. Okay, you want to impeach him, but there's nothing new. So this is all just a waste of time on top of a waste of time. And meanwhile, we've been just careening to the shutdown. I thought for sure it was going to happen. I'm not going to waste your time with the play-by-play. But sure enough, we were at Saturday night, 12:01 or whatever. That was the deadline. Somehow, some way, Kevin McCarthy was able to kind of, I guess, I'm assuming he had to kind of reach across the aisle, though I think both sides are kind of being a little mum on that. But essentially, you were able to get the votes to make this happen. I think at the end of the day, only 9 Republicans were kind of like, no, we're actually against it, but it wound up passing. So granted, it's only 45 days. It's temporary, but this was a stopgap that Kevin McCarthy needed. Granted, it just kind of goes to further show how bad this guy wants it, how sweaty he is for this goddamn gavel. I personally do not think it would have been worth it. You're making enough money. I'm sure you're making more, but this is a prestige thing. It's got to be for him. But you just look like a clown. And sure enough, I just read before I went on that Matt Gaetz is more or less like heavily saying, like, look, I am going to be the one who's going to, like, you know, push for you to get ousted. Because essentially he agreed. Kevin was so eager. I mean, it took so much to get him to the House Speaker position. He's like, look, I'll make a deal with you guys that any one of you, anyone can vote to oust me. We will do that. But that's just gonna further gum up the works, and we're gonna get even less things fucking done. Now before I do close out, I do want to, you know, talk about what was cut out of it. There was supposed to be new spending for Ukraine. Joe Biden has been promising that shit, and I'm sure he's a bit disappointed that Kevin did not, you know, come through there, and you know that had to get cut for right now. Granted, it might get worked back in. We'll see. Let's see. And then also, I think for the Republicans, they were mad because there was supposed to be more money for provisions for like border shit. And they're like, whoa, we need that. What's going on there? So, like, everyone's mad, but essentially, at least people are still able to go to work, get paid. The government isn't shut down. You know, life as we know it will just continue. As it fucking should. This is just fucking silly Billy bullshit, if you ask me. But, you know, Congress just works hard at hardly working, if you know what I mean. But yeah, that is it. That's all I have. I'm not going to do any shilling or plugging. You know, if you want to be a newsie, you know what to do. But yeah, hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.